Let's do it. WBH Radio, your host, William Holly. Thank you for tuning in. We have a very special guest today, Miss Chandell Collins.
Yes.
Let me give the audience a little backstory. For the last couple of years, I've been coaching basketball, youth basketball in the city. And somebody that has been by our side every step of the way is the OG, Gary Baker.
Mr. Baker. Hey, babe.
And I love to pick his brain about any and everything, learn about him. And one of the fun facts I learned is that his young son, your young son, is being homeschooled.
Homeschooled.
I said, what? In our neighborhood?
Homeschooled. Never been into an educational institution.
I thought that was reserved for the lifestyles of the rich and famous. So I said, I need that story. Mm-hmm. And here is his mother, Miss Chandell Collins, who is also serving as his teacher.
Yes.
Here to discuss. Man, when did this first become a consideration for your family?
Actually, before I had him, I knew that my next child would definitely be homeschooled.
Yeah?
I was totally over the home educational system. So I knew that homeschooling him was something that I was going to do for my next child. Never second guessed it.
You have an older daughter?
Yes, my oldest daughter is 24.
Which high school did she go to?
In Maryland. She went to Largo High School in Maryland.
And what about that experience made you say, you know what, my next child is homeschooled?
She actually had a hard time with some of her teachers, knowing she was from Brooklyn, New York. There's this stigma. If you're from Brooklyn, if you're from the hood, you're automatically from the projects, low income, and the teachers would just always give her a hard time, knowing she was from New York. They would pick on her. In high school, in her junior year, that was the straw for me when she got into it with her English teacher.
Okay.
And English teacher was very impatient, didn't know how to talk to the students, and it was during testing time. Mm-hmm. My daughter had a question as well as the other students in the class, and she raised her hand. Teacher wouldn't call on her, kept looking over her, would answer the questions, of the other students and overlook my daughter. So this particular day, several students had their hands up. And she called on one gentleman, and he told her there was something wrong with the question that was on the test. Long story short, my daughter said, well, I had my hand up first.
Right.
And you purposely looked at me, kept, looking over me and called on someone else. So she said, is it possible I can go and finish my exam in the principal's office? The teacher became irate, and one thing led to another. Words were exchanged, and my daughter told her she needs to learn patience. One, with dealing with students. She's a teacher, she's an educator. And the teacher told her that she needs to mind her business and talk to her politely. Now, one thing didn't have to do with the other, because she's referring to the question on the test. And they continued to argue, and she said, you know what, you need to lose your job because you don't know how to deal with students. The teacher told her she needed to lose her life. And it was
She said this to a junior in high school?
And it was recorded. The whole conversation, on video, everything. So, of course, Bakes and I, we went up to the school, and the ultimate outcome was she was basically forced into early retirement.
A teacher told a high schooler, your daughter, you need to lose her life.
Because she told her how she deals with the children, the students, is wrong, and the way she treats them, especially her. And she told her, she said, you need to lose your job. She said, how you speak to us, your personality in a classroom. As soon as we come in here, especially my daughter, she always had an attitude. And my daughter was all A's and B's. Right. All A's and B's, all A, B student. So there wasn't no reason for her to just single my daughter out for anything. And come to find out, it was basically because she was from New York. Wow. Other teachers, other students, other parents had problems with her. And for me, that was the straw. Amir, I believe, was 3 years old at the time. But I
and you said I'm not doing
at that
the
time
school.
It was a question as to whether or not I would send him to school later on. Right. But after that, I was like, no, we're definitely homeschooling, and we're going for the long haul.